And if your district is back to school, you need to get out the door, folks. But if you're like me and we're waiting a couple more days or a couple more weeks, let's talk about how we can be prepared. Back to school means tackling homework assignments and computer time and those precious few hours between school and bedtime. It's always hard to get everything in, right? So to help parents set the right limits from the start is Dr. Lisa Stroman, who is the founder and CEO of Digital Citizen Academy and also the author of Unplug, Raising Kids in a Technology Addicted World. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a tough time because parents who are actively trying to maybe limit their students' screen time, that kind of shifts when you go back to school because we've got the excuse of, well, I have homework to do and I need to do this or that for school.
Absolutely, and more schools are going online and they're providing tablets, and so it's becoming increasingly hard.
So what do you tell parents? And I imagine it's all age dependent.
It is. So elementary school is much different than middle school and high school, obviously. But I think that really staying connected to your kids, having some programs in place that you're monitoring, and understanding what the requirements are from the school is important.
Okay. Being able to observe what they're doing physically has got to be very important. It's hard because maybe parents are working, they've got busy schedules, maybe they're working on a computer or a laptop in their own bedroom, but you want to be able to take a peek over the shoulder, right?
Absolutely, but I think that it's more important, to your point, we're so busy nowadays and kids are utilizing it. Not having technology in the bedroom is key.
Okay.
You know, kids end up making some pretty bad choices when they're behind closed doors. So it's necessary to keep the kids at least out into a public place.
So how do you, or what would be a realistic expectation for at the time constraint, say when you have access to your devices?
Well, again, the young age, you want to keep them off technology as much as possible if they're utilizing it in school.
Okay.
So if it's a school where they have tablets issued, when they're offline or they're out of school, give them a break. They need to give their brains a break, and they need to get offline activities back in.
Yeah, I'm curious what your take is. I mean, most kids have technology at home. Of course, you know, some kids can't afford to have a device at home, but schools are now utilizing it in school too. Even as a preschooler, my son was using the iPad in the class. So is that even necessary anymore?
Well, it is. I mean, it's a double-edged sword, in my opinion, because research is coming out that too much technology can cause microstructure changes in the brain. So we're talking about rewiring brain and actually changing the way the brain looks, and we don't really know what that means yet.
Wow.
And so with the little ones, with the developing brain, you've got to be really careful.
And I shared some of your warnings about what too much screen time can do for the young ones in particular. And it can really impair their social development and also their ability to communicate.
Absolutely. Connecting with their peers is increasingly becoming more difficult for them because they've been doing it behind screens.
Wow. So teenagers obviously communicate heavily through devices. I mean, we're hearing that teens now don't even want a text message because they just want to snap each other.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, how do you supervise that, and what are some of the risks that are coming with that? Because obviously we hear more and more about how bullying is extended to just about every hour of your life.
Right. I mean, statistics show that more than 50% of kids are bullied on a regular basis in schools now, in middle school and high school. So I think that getting a monitoring program in place, a lot of parents come to me and they're like, I don't want to violate privacy. And my advice to them is that the only people that they're trying to hide that information from is you. And they're doing it because they don't want to get their technology away, but our priority as a parent has to be to keep them safe.
So realistically, could you say, hey, no devices during dinner, no devices after 8 p.m. or?
Absolutely. I think that giving some boundaries, I mean, we do Tech-Free Tuesday in my house.
Okay.
I think that on dinner times, you should definitely not have devices in place because you've got to teach them how to communicate in those times. And I think that with kids, understanding that you have internet service providers, so if you can't afford outside programming or monitoring programs, your internet service provider has programs in place that you can go to get some limitations put on.
And lead by example as a parent. You can't be on your phone during the whole dinner either.
Absolutely.
If schools or parents are interested in contacting you and to learn more about this, some of the programs you offer through the Digital Academy?
Absolutely. DCAkids.org.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Stroman. Good to see you. Happy back to school, everybody.